Domestic violence is not a private matter and must not be condoned. A whole of society effort is needed to tackle domestic violence. And events like today's roadshow, organized by Casa Rauda and supported by MSF, are important to raise overall awareness and help more people understand how we all have a part to play to prevent and detect domestic violence. And we encourage more community partners to work alongside us to do this. We recognize that protection work is emotionally demanding, and protection practitioners are regularly exposed to trauma, such as when their clients share with them their domestic violence experiences. And therefore, protection practitioners also themselves face distinctive pressures dealing with such urgent and high-risk cases on a daily basis. And therefore, when we speak to the social service agencies, they too share this sentiment and that we need to take action in this space. The SSAs have shared ideas with us in terms of how we can help shape the sector and how we can go about providing better care on the mental, the emotional and the physical well-being of our protection practitioners. And their ideas range from making counselling more accessible so that the practitioners themselves have a safe space to process their encounters, their emotions, to reassure the practitioners that they're not alone, and by putting in place various mentorship and team-based reflective practices as well. So there are a few things that we can do. And MSF has committed that we will put in $15 million over the next 5 years to the Protection Practitioners Care Fund to implement these various ideas. I'm glad that many of the SSAs that we've spoken to have shared that are looking forward to using this care fund to provide their practitioners with counselling, with mentorship, and with various other forms of well-being support. Now, SSAs can apply to use the care fund to make alternative manpower arrangements as well, such as hiring additional manpower, supplementary manpower, so that they can offer wellness leave to their protection practitioners who need it. Now, the care fund will benefit more than 1,000 protection practitioners and support the protection of vulnerable adults and children in our society.
I think this is something interesting, right? Because we know that in this field, there's a lot of emotional investment that is put in when we work with survivors of domestic violence, right? So we can understand how some of my social workers that I've seen, how much sometimes they felt that they want to do more, but there's restriction, and that's impacted them, right? Because the idea is to support. So, and it's always about them, but this time around we are talking about, it's always about the client, but this time around we are talking about them. We're talking about how can we help them to keep themselves safe, to keep their mental well-being safe, so that they can do more for the clients. So this fund, actually, we welcome the fund. Casa Rauda welcome the fund, and it will help the clients. It will help our staff to recharge, right, and then to have a good break, right, and come back able to support more, able to give more. This is very new to us. Honestly, we haven't really sit down and look at how we can use this, right? But on top of my head, I already know that, one of the things that it will support them beneficially is to have that clinical supervision support for them, right? That is one thing that we want to do, is to have that counseling support for the staff, right? So again, when you, just like a doctor, right? You cannot give yourself your own medicine. You need someone that you can talk to and prescribe to you what is good for you to practice. So this fund will help that. I share with you my personal when I had this session with the survivors, because we run a shelter, so we have that direct engagement with them, and we see them almost every day. So one of the incident that I had when I had a chat with these survivors, and at that point of time when she shared what kind of the kind of abuse that she has to go through, at that point of time it doesn't really show the impact. But few months down the road, when someone asks me what is the most impactful thing that I have experienced talking to them, and that story just come to me, right? So when that story just come to me, I somehow get emotional about it. So yeah, so that kind of impact that these social workers may have, because when you hear stories like this, you felt something, as a woman, especially when you hear about another woman being battered, somehow it will have that kind of impact on you, right? But when you do not know when it will surface, you do not know when it will hit you. So having this kind of intervention, having this kind of support from the organization to them means a lot. It shows that we care for you as much as we care for the client.